Welcome back to the news today. This is the Daily Debate. The relationship between two longtime allies, the United States and Israel, has deteriorated and seems at an all-time low. The Wall Street Journal revealed that the White House learned the Israeli military secured supplies of ammunition from the Pentagon without its approval. In response, the Obama administration has tightened its grip on arms transfer to Israel. So where is the relationship heading, and what are the implications for this volatile region? Joining me tonight is Dovid Efune, Editor-in-Chief of the Algemeiner. Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you very much for coming.
Pleasure.
And also Hillel Schenker. You see, chair of the Democrats abroad Israel. Is it stronger than ever, or is it really not, totally not strong?
Well, I think the first thing that is crucial, and this is a distinction that Nurit actually made, is that there is a difference between the U.S.-Israel relationship and the Obama administration's relationship with Israel. The U.S.-Israel relationship is stronger than ever. The polls are among the highest that they've been, in the high 60s and 70s. The American people are strongly in Israel's court, backing what it needs to do to defend itself at this point. The Obama administration has different ideas about things and has been implementing things the way that it sees.
Isn't it connected? Isn't it really important that the two leaders will have good relationship in order that Israel will gain from it?
Of course it's important. It's important both for their own personal political futures, both for President Obama and for Netanyahu, that the relationship remains strong. And of course it's important for the future of the two countries. But if you look at the history of the relations, the rocky period that we're going through right now has seen much worse periods, and I think it will emerge bigger, stronger and better, especially after President Obama leaves office in a couple of years' time.
How come, try to just explain to me, how come Israel is allowing itself to criticize the United States each and every time?
Lucy, that's a very good question. I think that Prime Minister Netanyahu had the bad luck of twice being elected at a time that the American people decided to elect a Democratic president. And the fact is that Netanyahu has perhaps more of a Republican orientation. The fact is he sent a Republican representative, essentially, to be the Israeli ambassador to the United States. Ron Dermer comes from a Republican Party in family in Florida.
That's wrong. So, his father was a Democrat.
But his father eventually moved over to the Republicans, and so did he, and they are working very much with the Republicans. But to get to the basic thing, first of all, I agree with one of the comments that was made there, that the Israeli-American relationship is on a very solid foundation. At the same time, we know that if you look at it historically, there are ups and downs. There was Eisenhower asking Ben-Gurion to withdraw from Sinai and, once again, Gaza back in 1957. We have Nixon and Kissinger, in both cases Republicans, by the way, who did a reassessment in the middle of the Yom Kippur War. And let's remember that that reassessment, which also had to do with arms, led eventually to an Israeli-Egyptian peace agreement. So maybe what is happening now may eventually produce something which will be very positive, both for Israel, for the region, and for American interests.
You know, if we want to distinguish between President Barack Obama and Benjamin Netanyahu's relationship in Israel and America, a relationship, let's say Benjamin Netanyahu not supporting Barack Obama in the last campaign, last election, in one way or another, with all the criticism, with saying that maybe just in this operation, saying to the American ambassador, next time just say to the United States not to question me and not to say that I'm not right. Maybe this thing is actually what made, at the end of the day, not that the United States won't help Israel, and in what it needs, because right now it is a very crucial situation. If we're looking at the geopolitical situation right now in the Middle East, it is a very crucial point that the United States has to take one side or another in it, and we're seeing that the United States just decided to just give Israel the silence treatment.
Well, look, it's definitely hugely important for the Prime Minister of the State of Israel to assert the independence of this country and the right to act independently in its own interests and in the interests of the security of its people. President Obama has been treating Israel like a vassal state, and that is wrong. It is simply wrong. Historically, U.S. presidents, especially at a time of war, even Nixon, who was considered an anti-Semite, rose to the occasion, according to many historians, when Israel was at war and needed it most. So for the president now to be agitating, even if he has differences of opinion, now is not the time. Israeli citizens are under fire. Israel has a right, not only a right, but a duty, a moral duty to defend its own citizens. And right now, the president should be
supported that. The United States supported that, and Barack Obama said that Israel has the right to defend itself.
But you can't say Israel has the right to defend itself and then say you can't. What you're doing is wrong and demand a unilateral ceasefire. That you're talking out of two sides of your mouth when you do that.
But if you want to be in the middle and you want to be the mediator, so in one way or another, you have to try to walk between the drops like basically Barack Obama is always doing. He is trying to be okay with everyone. He is trying to be okay with the Israelis and okay with the Palestinians. Maybe this is not the way. Maybe you should choose sides. Maybe if you are the ally of Israel, you should say, I am the ally of Israel, I'm supporting Israel, and I'm not changing, especially not in a wartime.
Well, the question is, what does it mean to support Israel? First of all, in terms of military aid, we all know the $3 billion aid that the United States provides every year. We know that it has financed the Iron Dome system, which was so critical during this past month in defending Israeli civilian lives. And perhaps supporting Israel, defending Israel, is trying to work out an arrangement in the region which will lead to not only a ceasefire, but eventually to a political settlement.
See, here's the important thing, I think, to understand in the context, and it's the reason why I think in any instance where Prime Minister Netanyahu and President Obama have actually gone head-to-head against each other in international diplomacy, Netanyahu has come out on top. And that is because I think he has his pulse on what the people want. His popularity now in Israel and the popularity of the operation in Gaza is unprecedented popularity. Even the president himself said that he thinks Netanyahu is too strong for a peace deal. And the president's position is very weak in the U.S.
These were not the voices just before this operation. The voices in Israel before the operation is that Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is losing points in Israel, is actually finding himself isolated in his own party. He's actually not able to take any decision and to say black or white, right or left. Even in this operation, some may say that he took amazing decisions and the correct decisions, but some may say that he was too much hesitating on any decision making in this current operation.
But certainly the country is unified, and the coalition is unified around this operation. And what the president is asking for in the context specifically of this war and this operation is not represented. It's represented by the tiniest fraction of Israeli politicians. President Obama's representation in Israeli politics is less than 10%.
You know, I want to take you to what if. What if we faced, Benjamin Netanyahu faced right now a Republican president? Will he dare to do and say and criticize what the American president is doing like he's doing now?
100%. If you look historically, you had the same with Reagan, who was a Republican president. You had conflict. Look, Israel, the point is very simple. Israel is an independent country, an independent state. Netanyahu has to think about protecting his citizens. Everything else is secondary.
Yes, except for the fact that if you read today's headlines, you saw that Finance Minister Lapid criticized Prime Minister Netanyahu for endangering the crucial Israeli-American relationship. In other words, there are many voices in Israel, also within the government and within the security establishment, who are saying that Netanyahu's approach, the Prime Minister's approach to how to handle the Israeli-American relationship is not always the wisest. And as far as the question of Lucy, what would happen if there were a Republican president, all of the trends seem to indicate that in 2016, once again, there will be a Democratic president, so that we will not be experiencing that possibility.
But, you know, it's in one way or another, Israel cannot allow itself to jeopardize the relationship with the United States. Israel cannot allow itself, specifically with what is happening right now.
And America, the Obama administration cannot allow itself to jeopardize its relationship with Israel. There is a midterm election coming up.
Do you really
absolutely,
think that?
Absolutely. The damage that will be caused
to President Obama... Do you think that the United States cannot deal and cannot cope without Israel, cannot manage without Israel?
I'm not talking about the United States. I'm talking about President Obama. President Obama, Fox News released a poll this morning that shows that 58% disapprove of President Obama's handling of the Israeli-Palestinian Authority conflict. Now, those are big numbers.
Would this be the same poll in CNN?
What exactly?
You know,
these are impartial polls. You can have a look at the numbers today. They're published by all of the major publications. The point is this: right now, foreign policy is unraveling. And it's in the headlines every day in the United States. And the president is having great difficulty trying to justify any of his foreign policy positions. And Israel is the most popular. It's the highest ranked in the headlines. And this could cause very serious damage.
So let me take David's point just here for a second. And about the foreign policy of Barack Obama. It seems that the foreign policy of Barack Obama did not work for the last 6 years. It's not working. He's not reaching, if we're talking about Benjamin Netanyahu, who's not able to take any decision. We don't even want to start talking about Barack Obama, who was not able to take any decision about Iran, about Syria, about right now, even Israel and the Palestinians, about deciding not to be in the middle of the ceasefire right now between Israel and Gaza. So
I don't quite see it that way. I must say, for example, I assume that everybody here and many of the viewers saw the hour-long interview that President Obama gave to Tom Friedman. It's on the web, New York Times, etc. And one of the things that President Obama said is that he doesn't see people rushing to go to immigrate to Moscow for its opportunities. They're all still wanting to come to the United States. In other words, first of all, the United States is in a very solid situation. Secondly, in terms of what is happening, the United States is working out a difficult relationship with the Russians, and it appears as if Putin right now is realizing that there are certain limits that he has to face. In terms of Iran, we know that the Americans, together with the other the 5+1, are all working on arriving at a deal to prevent the Iranians from reaching nuclear weapons.
Yes,
so this is all very possible.
Gentlemen, thank you very much for coming. Me personally, I thought that after I saw them here in Jerusalem with the jackets on their shoulder, they look like they're best friends. Thank you very much for this.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
We're going out for a small break, 2 minutes, and I'll be back.